crafty friends, this is Julissa of Paper Gems by Jules, and today I am making a super simple interactive card featuring the brand new Snarky Graduation stamp set and the coordinating die for the graduation cap. This is a really, really simple card. Don't feel like you need to have the interactive dies. You can use a sentiment strip die. You can use an X-Acto knife to create this. So don't feel like you have to have everything. I will set up a link for anything that's similar if it's not available, but just in case, you have some alternatives as well. So I started out by stamping a couple of the sentiments. This stamp set actually has some sentiments that you can use both on the outside and the inside of your card. So it's a really, really versatile stamp set. The graduation cap is simple. You could do a whole background with it. You can do what I'm doing where it's a little more simple. There's a lot of variations that you can do with this one. But here I'm using the clouds and waves stencil to create a sky background. The goal is to make it look like the graduation cap was tossed in the air and is floating by. So it's a fun little interactive card, but you can see really simple. I did speed this up a little bit just, for time. So you don't have to take all the time that I'm doing on this. But you can see how easy it is to use the stencil. I really like this stencil because it's not just 4 sets of clouds, it's 8, because you can flip it over and now you have 4 different kinds of layouts for your clouds. So just keep that in mind. It's just another great part of Unity's stash. So here I'm laying out the die that I have, just kind of placing it as centered as I can see it. Be right back. And here we are. We are going to keep the cutout, so don't toss that. I'm just giving you a little demo of how that works. It's going to slide right in, but let's do our card base. I had one already cut out, so I'm just folding it over, put that aside. Now I'm just kind of figuring out where everything's going to go. Let's put some foam tape. You are going to need foam tape. So you are going to want to make sure that the foam tape, you can actually use the foam tape for the graduation cap, but I used these other things that I had, these little rounder ones. I'll show you in a second. But for now, you are going to want to have this even. So a couple of other things, like when you create the back part for the slider, you want to make sure that your foam tape isn't blocking anything. So I'll show you that as well in a little bit. But you got to have some good coverage of on the background for the foam tape so it's steady, so it doesn't get wrinkled, so things don't get stuck. So I'm actually going to add more foam tape in a little bit. So what I was saying before, I could have used a slither of the other foam tape that I was using, but I used these round dots. It was just easier, because it's round and this is kind of a bend of a die cut. It's easier to have the round foam dots, whatever they are. So I'm taping this down because I want to place the die cut piece of the sky back in there, and I want to align it properly. And you'll see I make a couple mistakes, but I fix that, and that's okay. Again, this is handmade, not Hallmark, so don't get frustrated if you make a mistake. It's only paper, but again, like we all make mistakes too, so it's not a big deal. I must have shifted it, so I pulled it up before it actually adhered, and I'm trying it again. So I'm just trying to be a little smoother now and try to make sure that I line it up perfectly, and we're good. I think we're good. All right, so I'm going to add a little more foam tape because I realized that on the sides it's a little floppy. That's probably why I was able to tie it up or tape it down and get it to line up on the other side. So just adding a little more foam tape, making it more steady, and yeah, I think I'm good. Okay, just double checking before I adhere it. So what I like to do when I use foam tape, because sometimes when you lay down the foam tape, it's so quick. Oh wait, before I get into that. So you'll see here that I took off the covers on the dots and I was about to adhere the backing, but you want to put it in. So that way, that backing is what's going to keep it from falling out. And look, it slides perfectly. It's awesome. Okay, super excited. Back to another little tip that I use. When I'm using foam tape tends to just adhere right away. There's no wiggle room. So once you remove all the backing, I like to put liquid glue over the foam tape. I know it's, extra. It's not a big deal. It's, again, I want the card to look nice and I want it to land properly. So this is what I'm going to use. So I use liquid glue because it allows you to have a little more wiggle time in your placement. So if I want to shift something, you'll see I do it a little bit here, just lining things up before I press it down. But that's it. This is the card. Done and done. Enjoy. And before you go, make sure to like and subscribe. And if you have any questions, make sure to leave them in the comments. Thanks so much.